5:05. If we can find our way to our seats, we'll get started. There is something down here. I don't know what it is around this building that gives me the sniffs. So I apologize already for sniffing into the mic. I've been fine all day. So, okay, I've got 1703, 503 for those non-military type folk. We will call the workshop to order for Tuesday, March 17th. Happy St. Patty's Day to everybody. I don't know if I got green on somewhere. If not, oh well. Okay, so without objection, I'm going to bypass the announcements of citizens' comments. Nobody signed up. Did anybody want to sign up? No? All right, just double checking. So no need for that one. We will bypass that part. We will move straight into business with presentations. Chief Schutze, I'm sorry, Director Schutze, if you would like to post and give us your outdoor warning presentation, please, sir.
Well, can y'all hear me? Anybody? Yeah, okay, good. There we go. Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens. Tonight I'm here to present a phased approach to our outdoor warning sirens. It's in upgrades and additions that we recommend. So I'm going to start out with showing you some pictures and some mapping. And hopefully, Roxanne, you got the presentation in your email? Got it. Okay. I couldn't hear you, Roxanne, but I saw you lip read.
Yes, I had it muted, sorry.
Got it, okay.
I will pull them up, thank you.
Okay. So the first picture that I'm going to show you guys is our current setup for our tornado or outdoor warning sirens. This is the reach that we have currently. So we have a Model 7 that is currently at the at the maintenance facility, and then we have a 2001, which is the newest one that we've added when Chief John Phillips was the fire chief. That is at Ansay Park. So as you can see there, the yellow lines don't really go by the color. The yellow lines are actually the highest decibel rating, and then the green line is about optimal, and then the red line is as it reduces. So your yellow line is 90 decibels, your green line is 80 decibels, and your red line is 70 decibels. Now these maps are generated by the company that services our outdoor warning sirens and installs them. So we have no kind of control over this. This kind of shows. Also, these maps show, again, optimal temperature, optimal humidity, optimal wind, optimal topography, and all the other optimal asterisks that you would add. So which all of those go, I'll tell you, go out the window when you have an outdoor weather event. So keep that in mind. So that's currently our current reach right now. This is currently with what we're proposing for phase 2. Phase 2 would be the addition of site number 2 down toward Bluebonnet Shores Girl Scout Camp there, and keeping, of course, what we have now. As you can see, it drastically increases our reach of our residents quite a bit, just with that addition of that siren. So, and later tonight, you'll be hearing the proposed plan for adding phase 2 is currently trying to figure out if city manager could use city manager contingency funds for that. I have not been cleared on that yet or not. So that's what the work is looking to see if city manager can use contingency funds for site number 2. Phase 3 would be to upgrade or replace, in a sense, the one at maintenance facility. Basically, we would take that. You can't really take it or upgrade it, really. You just have to drop in a new one. So we would drop in a new one, number 3, a little bit down the road toward the water tower on Morgan's Point Road, and it would reach some of our southernmost residents down that direction and increase our radius there, as you can see. And then phase 4 would be to add a 4th siren to the system. We would generally look at putting that on the Cedar Trails area. As you can see by number 4 there. And that basically just increases the little bit of the gap, as you can see from phase three, that little bit there where that yellow pin is, increases that coverage quite a bit for the residents there. So all in all, phase one, we've kind of already completed phase one, not necessarily completed, but we've already started to complete phase one, which is upgrade our current siren system to a more reliable radio communication method. It will also give us the ability to to have those pre-programmed to set off with the National Weather Service tornado or severe weather alerts. So it's kind of an automatic process if we choose to do that. It will also give us app access, so we have further reach that way, but it'll also add a console to our station that anybody at the Public Safety Center who has access can get to and actually set those off. It will also give us the ability to proactively monitor the system, so it will monitor AC power, battery power, solar power, and whether the siren, when you actually set it off for a test, if it actually functioned like it was supposed to or not. So it will give us a little bit of more of a proactive approach to maintenance or issues that we have. So we've already started that. The city manager did authorize that. That did come out of contingency funds, so we are in the process of doing that right now. So phase two, again, would be add additional siren to Morgan's Point Road, Rogers Park Road, in that area, rough estimate. The cost to implement that is $32,062.27. And I'll just reiterate, that cost stays the same. Every time we drop a new siren, that cost is the same, today's pricing. Now, if we wait, as everything else, supply chain issues and materials and cost of things go up generally. So then phase three will be the same thing, same cost, adding another siren near Morgan's Point Road and Apache Lane near the water tower. And then phase four would be the additional siren on Cedar Trails Drive. Again, all at today's pricing, $32,067.27. So so again, on phase two, looking to see if the city manager has the ability to use contingency funds to purchase that site. If that is the case, then phase two will be taken care of that way. Looking for a grant for phase three, and then hopefully looking to pair. I haven't spoken with them just yet, but if they're listening, maybe that'll give them a little heads up. Hoping to pair with NPR Cops, and I'm hoping they will be able to apply for a grant as well and to do phase four with them through the partnership with them. So, but that's still a discussion to be had. If the grant funding is not available, we would look to reapproach council with in the upcoming budget year for phase 3 and 4, hoping that we can accomplish phase 2 now. If not, it just pushes us a little bit behind. But that's the plan.
Is there any testing schedule? How often do you test them?
Once a month, every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month, we test them. It's kind of the national standard.
Matt, is there any cost savings if we do more than one at a time?
I didn't ask that, but I would say generally most likely yes, just because again, they would be able to source it all and be able to kind of do it all. So I would say generally there might be, I don't know how much, I wouldn't look to see that it'd be a large amount, maybe a few $100s each time. But there may be some cost savings there.
Planning on working with the COG on the grants?
No, so so later tonight, we have a proposal in front of you guys. So I'll just mention it now so I don't have to come back up later. So one of the agenda items later is for the application or resolution to allow us to apply for firehouse subs. So there's a cap of $40,000 on that grant. They open up each quarter. And they take the first 600 applications for that quarter, and then they close. Since we haven't had a firehouse subs grant before, as a city, I'm optimistic that we would be awarded the money. But again, once you're awarded the money, you can't reapply for firehouse subs. I believe for it's 3 years, 2 to 3 years. I want to say it's 3 years after that.
That's the only grant that will help fund a...
That's all that we have right now available to us without looking further.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
The COG might
Yeah,
have some
yeah, I mean, we
opportunities.
could explore different opportunities with a COG or something like that.
Because they're the hub of a lot of grant money.
Yeah, and then certain grants, like, again, on certain things, the only reason we say the firehouse subs right now is because, again, they're available every quarter. So if we get shot down now, we can come back next quarter and do it again, and as long as, and then until we get awarded, and then we have to wait 3 years after that.
Well, there'll be a different sound between we want you to evacuate or we want you to shelter in place. How will people know when the siren goes off what they're supposed to do?
So, City Manager Dennis Baldwin has put into place that he would like us to have two tones for these sirens when this goes through all of this. The first tone is the normal sound. It just stays constant. And of course, these spin, so naturally you'll hear it come and go. But it is a constant sound that stays on for at least 3 minutes for that. That is the normal siren that you hear today. That will stay the same.
Tornado, is that?
That's severe weather. We say
That's
tornado.
shelter in place.
Yes, that is seek shelter. The second one is and it's kind of hard to describe to some people that don't understand it, but if you take your car horn and you hold down your horn and then you let it go and you hit it again and you hold it down and you let it go, there's only two sounds that we can have with these sirens, which is apply constant power, which is the one you hear now, and apply power and take away the power, which takes away the sound. So if you do that in a succession really fast, it gives you a sort of a different tone that is distinguishable. And so we would implement that. That would be, right now, the city manager would like that implemented for wildfire, which is almost an evacuation sense, but yes, a wildfire situation for our city. So it's.
And then I guess if a siren goes off, will code red. Will code red automatically so that the siren goes off and all of a sudden you get a code red?
So they're two separate, so they don't have integration.
Okay.
That'll take some human involvement.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll take some human involvement, but again, with Code Red and the ability, it's Commander One, as they call it, that we're in now, to having those automatic National Weather Service alerts that if the National Weather Service says that there's a tornado impacting for our area, it will set our sirens off automatically, just like Temple City Temple does that as well. So it reduces the amount of having a human to do it, and so that it's more automatic to that, so it gives them more advanced warning.
Who triggers that?
The National Weather Service, when they put it on that box that says, hey, there's going to be that's affecting this area, then it would automatically push through to our system. And then again, that's optional, but that is a feature that we do get with our upgrade.
And then will the console handle all 4 sirens, or will we have to upgrade that
Nope.
console?
The console will handle, well, I don't know how much the console will handle, but we do have a reoccurring cost. It's like $900 every year, but that it will handle, that cost doesn't change as long as we don't have 10 sirens. So, yeah.
Question, DIA is doing some education for the public on Code Red. Is there any plan to educate the public on the 2 tones of the siren?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once we implement those, there will be some education on there naturally to get residents to understand what they sound like. And again, you have to understand too, with a asterisk caveat, when you look at this map here again, all 4 of these will be spinning while sounding. So where these overlap, there is a potential that you will hear overlapping sounds. So there is a potential that when we do the 2-tone, it may sound a little weird as one siren turns this direction and one siren is turning away from you. You hear a different, kind of a difference. That's the asterisk of that, because of naturally sounds overlapping, traveling through the air.
It should be pretty clear there are 2 tones, though.
Yes, he said it would be distinguishable, yes.
So, but is there an option that is more distinguishable, like if it was an extra $5,000 per siren?
No, not right now. Unfortunately, that technology doesn't. So basically, again, it's just like your siren now. When we apply power to it, it sounds until we turn the power off.
So like in the wildlife areas, like in Colorado and New Mexico that do have these sirens, they're using just one siren for the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, there are different types of sirens for different things. For schools and outdoor recreation areas, but again, they don't reach the amount of coverage that those get because they're a different type of technology producing a different type of sound. They're smaller, so it's almost like the speaker outside of or at the PA system outside of the school. Where
With
you
all
can
the
put
legislation
something.
going on with Kerrville, so is there not going to be
More
state money for us to get even bigger and better?
At the moment, we don't, that's the thing with grants is some grants come, some grants go, some grants come in waves. Like when I say that, I mean like these specific grants come at the beginning of the year and they have a specific period. And then they may come back again. And then again,
Stephen's thinking, and so was I, my train of thought, there'll be new things out there that have never been out there before.
Right.
And so
Be-
how do we
because of what
find
happened in
out?
Kerrville.
Yeah, how do we find out about new things coming down the pike? Because some of them don't come pushed to us. Some of them we have to pull toward us. Like, that's why I said go to the COG.
Right.
Because the COG has all the most current information.
yeah, and again, we're just trying to, for our system, we already have one system in place. Without completely changing the entire system, we're just expanding to what we have, instead of having a piecemeal, you know what I mean? We're just expanding the system that we have to work with, and when we start talking about different technology and things, then we're gonna have to talk about replacing what we already have, which will cost additional amount.
And then
I'm not
there-
talking technology, I'm talking funding.
Oh, funding,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm talking funding and technology, both.
Yeah.
But what I'm curious too, it's like, so going back to Code Red, so, we'll essentially at the station, I'm assuming they'll have I'm gonna call it a computer, I don't know what it is, but
It's
a
a
center,
computer.
a
Mhm.
console, to where you can activate the sirens.
Correct.
Would this same person be able to activate Code Red in that scenario, if there was someone sitting there?
Code Red has only been, right now, Code Red has only been established access for director level. So Dia, myself, Mary, Stephen, BJ,
So who would have access to that siren, or the console?
the on-duty officer, firefighter or police officer would have that access to that.
Right.
Yeah, because again, that also gives us, if for whatever reason I can't do it from wherever I'm at or whatnot, then somebody else, whoever has that ability, doesn't have to go through a locked process to do that,
Well, this is one of our 4 major priorities of our city, emergency preparedness. And so thank you very much.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
and we've heard from residents, especially, since, again, this is our current coverage area, we've heard from residents down at down toward Bluebonnet Shores that, they can't be heard. And naturally, and while sometimes, again, the red line, is kind of a guide. I mean, you can hear things a little bit more, again, in optimal conditions or things like that. The topography of it changes everything. So again, they might be able to hear something currently down that direction, but it may be faint. So again, just by adding this here, I mean, as you can see, the major difference that we achieve, just
I'm
by
down
adding one.
I'm down by
yeah.
Rogers Park, and I can hear the sirens.
You can?
Yes, I can.
Okay, yeah, so,
That might be perfect weather conditions. It was just
Right.
a test,
right.
so.
And so as you can see that, and then of course, as we get to that, and then naturally, we have talked about because maintenance or the one at Public Works is not gonna go away. When we do this upgrade, until it physically stops working, technically, we would have 5 that would kind of cover more of the central area, down there, until it just stops working. But this is the coverage of, if that does go away or stops working, this is the coverage we would have, with that.
Matt, short questions, quick fire at you. Voice capable, yes or no?
No,
I assume all 4 sirens will be tied, you talked about the bit test that it runs. All 4 will be tied in to report back if one fails?
yes.
Is it more expensive for the 2-tone versus the 1-tone, or is that just a package that comes with it?
No, that's just using the current capability of what the siren is capable of. Anything outside of that, you're talking about added or again, changes in technology.
Word, thank you.
Is
Any
that intermittent tone done manually or is it automated?
No, it's the same, it's automated, it's basically just turning the power on and then turning it off for a few seconds and turning it back on so that sound gets
But
that.
it's manual, has to be done by a person.
No, it's all, everything's automatic. Yeah. Any other questions?
Testing of it, it's a 3-minute test.
Yep, it's a 3-minute test.
Emergency is called, does the emergency continue until the emergency's through, or?
No, it still does a 3-minute, and then we can just basically do it again. Yeah. And then naturally, if they issued, and I think it happened during our last tornado, is they issued a tornado warning, and then they turned around and somehow it got issued again, maybe with some updated times. Every time it would just do that again, every time that warning came through, especially if it still covered our area.
Okay, so right now you don't need anything from council except for awareness?
Awareness, and then, I think, City Manager Baldwin was looking for, maybe approval. I don't necessarily know that's the word. I know he was considering, like I said, he was looking at his contingency fund for the 32,000 of that. But I know he wanted to wait till after you guys heard this tonight, so maybe feedback. Maybe feedback he wants. I'm not sure. I wish he was here to answer, but I'm just gonna guess.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, council, under the regular agenda, without objection, I'd like to move discussion item 26028, which is the Ansay Park improvements. I'd like to move that up. We have the gentleman here to present, and that will allow them to get on their merry way. So if there's no objection, we'll go ahead and, Stephen, or
Yeah,
if you would
so-
like to introduce them.
Yeah, I
sir?
would love to. So this is Tyler and Kobe from Covey in cahoots with KPA Engineering. And they've put together, I think, a pretty amazing plan, honestly. They're going to present the phased approach to this. I'm excited to see. I think the Parks and Recs Committee would all, we're pretty pleased and, hopeful to get some traction.
Awesome. So with that, like I said, my name is Tyler Richburg with Covey Planning Landscape Architecture. Got Kobe Bodine from our office as well. Super excited to be here. Like Steven said, this is something that, was brought to us because of y'all's vision and the community's vision, right? This wasn't, our vision that we're imposing upon y'all. This is something we get the pleasure of coming alongside y'all with and really hoping to really galvanize it and move it forward. So I've got, in front of y'all have got a packet that I'll kind of flip through, which, like Steven said, is kind of this phased approach to the park. We know that trying to move forward with anything without a plan and direction is cumbersome at best. And so while this is a overall master plan for the future of the park and what it could be, we did also break this out into phasing, really looking at funding and priorities that we think, that what we've heard from the city, obviously the playground being really that key component, right? And that phase one, and then everything else after that was really broken out in phasing just to help identify some of the funding and what it would cost to move this forward. And so I'll dive into all of these, as we go. Looking at this first page, again, that's the overall kind of full build out, right, of what this park could be. And that's looking at, phase one elements of the playground. And while the playground is a specific piece, there are accessibility improvements that have to happen in order to do that improvement. And I'll dive into those specifics here in a moment. Phase two, you get more of those sport court activities, upgrade to the basketball facility, maybe adding a pickleball court, some additional sidewalk connections, walking trail. And then phase three is kind of, I'll call them your more big ticket items, those kind of larger capital projects, such as repaving the roadway down the middle, adding some parking, updating lighting at the baseball fields, kind of your kind of overall approach. So if you go to that next page, that is phase one. We actually broke phase one out into two subcategories, phase 1A and 1B. Phase 1A is looking at, like I said, the playground itself. So you've got a existing restroom and then the parking along Thistle, which is currently not accessible. Phase 1A would look at just hopefully striping a couple of spaces. We've got some numbers in there. If there needs to be a little bit of mill and overlay, maybe some infill to help level that out.
You
But
say it's not accessible.
from a Texas accessibility
Oh,
TOS,
ADA.
ADA.
I'm sorry.
correct.
I'm like
Yep.
going, well.
Yeah,
okay,
so
okay, I
with
hear you.
any improvements that happen, the improvements that you're making and the key uses of the park, such as the restroom,
Yes.
have to become accessible.
Yes.
And so we've got that accounted for in our pricing for Phase 1A, is not only striped parking, but also the sidewalk connections that you see kind of in that red highlighted area, in that red dashed line. That connects you, like I said, from the parking lot to the restroom to the playground. The playground itself, there's an example picture on here. That is an actual structure. We've worked with a playground company that we know that the numbers that you're seeing in this OPC, we can get that exact structure. Also knowing that there's some flexibility in that, right? As we move forward, from city input, council, Parks Advisory Committee, that structure can change. But that is a good representative image of something that can be funded in the dollars that you see in the presentation.
About how many kids does that accommodate? Or how many is it coded?
Rated for? That's a great question. I don't know the specific number. I do know that's the kind of 2 to 12 combo. So it's some younger kids all the way up to some of the larger kids. I'd say it probably leans towards the younger to middle crowd just because of the structure. I don't know that exact. That's a great question. I can find. I do know.
Look like many. That's what my concern is. So I'd love to have that.
Yeah, I can find that out for sure. I do know this kind of size and scale and what's available. We're talking about, construction and want to move this forward.
Yep.
That can be ready in 6 weeks for delivery,
Okay.
with install in about 2.
And Dorothy, if you look at the 1.1 area, so there's some excavation and stuff that has to take place. The discussion was already made that there would be areas where we could site improve. So we get the first phase,
So yeah, that kind of where you see that 1.3.
replacing what was removed, and then there would still be areas for growth. So we could
Okay.
essentially do like a Clipus where there's, the place for the
Different
toddlers.
stations.
Right, exactly.
And the equipment is ADA, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, like Steve was talking about, you kind of see that 1.3 call out on the sidewalk. There's that kind of open space between the swings and the sidewalk, and that would be to that point for some of that future expansion. And as we get into more specific design, that layout can adjust and accommodate, all that future. This does also show, going to Phase 1B, the shade structure. So that's a 20 by 25 structure that we've got plugged in there, which we've got a couple of picnic tables under that. So it's a good kind of community area. It's something that we see those sizes being used for even rentable pavilions, for the city if somebody wants to rent that for a birthday party, but also just a good central location adjacent to 1.5, which we have is just a grass lawn, kind of smooth, open play. We know not everything needs to be obviously a program space. And that open lawn in conjunction with the shade structure, in conjunction with the playground, kind of really becomes a hub of activity for families and kids.
That's a standard size, because when I first looked at it, I thought it was kind of small.
Yeah, the 20 by 25 is, I'd say that's pretty standard on parks of this size that we use. We can certainly go bigger. That's obviously a consideration, but the cost.
So much
associated.
open space out there, and there isn't a lot of shade, and
Right.
I don't know if 2 in strategic areas but anyway, that's the standard size. Okay.
It is, yeah. I mean, like I said, we can certainly go bigger. I would say we've got 2 picnic tables under there. You could probably fit a third if you oriented it a little bit, went the other way with your orientation. But I'd say parks like this, with what we have going on, you're probably better served with multiple, because when you do start getting over to like the ball field area, and when you have the loop trail in the future, kind of trying to spread those out a little bit, so that way you don't have, you got opportunity for multiple events at one time. Right.
And then the landscape mound, like that's, being a kid, think back when you were a kid, like my kids were doing this at the barn the other day, rolling down the hill. The landscape mound, is just, that's a lot of bang for really not a whole lot of buck. And honestly, that price, in my opinion, probably is a little bit high. But then I even thought, and we discussed as a committee, potential for, like, for instance, the trees on this price list. You know, man, my family would love to sponsor a tree. I'm sure there's other families in our community that would love to sponsor a tree. Yes, Scott. Also, Scott can chime in too.
Is it appropriate for me to speak?
I think so, yeah.
So, Scott Mosier and I sat on and, one of the approaches, one of the ways to think about this is it's a shopping list. It's kind of a shopping list, and it's all based on the priority of what the citizenry really wants. But we wanted something that what would be a big win at first, and a big win would be a playground, something. And I've been driving around Anzie Park, and every time I drive by, there's a bunch of kids out there playing. And there's families, and not only that, but there's people out there playing baseball as well. There's a baseball team that's using that. And so this is kind of a first look. This isn't a set phase. The nice thing about the phase is it's based on the city's budget. It's based on the needs, but this is a shopping list. So it's not necessarily in this exact order. It's really up to the council, what the council wants. Of course, we're just advisory, but they did a great job of coming back with what we asked for. And just as Mr. Bishop said, you know, some of this, we too felt the pricing was a little high, but that's intentional in some ways, because they want to make sure that it doesn't go over. They'd rather,
Contingency.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's hard to do a master
under
plan.
promise and over deliver, so.
And the numbers that you do see, while we do try to err on the side of caution, fortunately, we've done a lot of work in this area, Central Texas, you know, Temple, Belton, Harker Heights, Killeen, Waco, Georgetown. And we've got, you know, projects under construction, projects that are currently bidding. And so we've got some pretty good numbers from, you know, contractors. And so I would say, you know, and I'll speak to the playground specifically. The numbers that are in the packet that you see are if that were through a general contractor driven scope and project. I do have numbers and an opportunity for the city to go in direct contract with a playground manufacturer, the one that I've got these images from, and they can actually do basically everything that you see between the sidewalks. So the concrete flatwork, the shade structure, the excavation, the edging, all of that. They can do turnkey in one direct contract, and you actually save money because you don't pay general contractors markup, you know, general contractors fees associated with that.
And it's kind of plug and play.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got their in-house install team, and we've done that with multiple cities with great success. And so the numbers that you see here, yeah, certainly. There's, talking about grants earlier, yeah, there's absolutely opportunities. For sure.
So, speaking of costs, there's a walking trail, which is awesome. And it's basically, ultimately, will be a half a mile. And I see that it is spec'd with concrete.
Yes.
What if we could spec it with asphalt? And I know the difference. I understand it's half the price, but half the
Lifespan.
And,
Yeah.
but we're not 0.0, we don't have a lot of money. I'm not sure how much that walking trail will be used and whether or not concrete is necessary. I don't have the answer,
Yeah.
but that's a cost consideration. And once we start with concrete, you know, I'm afraid that we'll say, well, it's all concrete, we've got to go back in with concrete. So I think once we make that first decision on the ADA, coming from the parking lot to the bathrooms and to the playground, won't be locked in, but it'll be a direction. Yeah.
And again, this is like a shopping list.
Red granite, crushed red granite for walking.
So from an accessibility standpoint, that's not, at its initial installation, it can technically pass accessibility, but after day one, the first time that it's kicked and loose and rain, it's no longer accessible.
So I worked at Peaceable Kingdom Retreat for Children back in the early 2000s, and all of their trails were crushed granite, and we were redoing those trails like on a weekly basis. Like we literally would roll it and roll.
Asphalt is a little less impervious.
Yeah, I agreed.
Yeah,
Asphalt is a consideration.
Certainly. Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions on phase one? So, like we were saying, you know, the phasing was broken out, you know, with some intentionality, exactly like he said, with the idea that this is a shopping list, right? The city, you know, when you get this in front of the public and you have some feedback, and now that you've got some documents that you can generate discussion and conversation, none of this is obviously set in stone from our perspective. This is all at the direction of council and however you want to prioritize.
And Parks and Rec, constantly reevaluating.
Certainly, yeah. It's,
Because this isn't our only park, you know, so we have other funding needs for other parks.
certainly.
And it's part of the strategic plan, so you have a planning document you can work with. And then it's really up to what you want to do. It's a map. It's just like any map. You're like, okay, we got a great map. Now where do we want to go? So then we
What
map
funds
out
do we have available?
the direction
Yeah.
you want to go.
And talking about that future and funding, it's not an exact science, but we feel pretty good about it. On the last page of that pricing of the OPC, we've actually got a kind of a fiscal year roadmap. So we've taken the dollars, you know, because the last thing we want to do is you plan 5 years from now based on today's dollars. And so we've actually put a markup, and it works out to about 8% a year, per year, to increase that cost, just from a budget standpoint, as you're having these conversations and looking at your futures. That's a pretty good placeholder. Jumping back over to the document, you know, phase 2, like I said, this was really looking about expanding adjacent to that playground area, this wildflower area. Honestly, that's just a low-hanging fruit from a grant perspective. It's something that you've got an existing open space and you can seed, and it helps with grant funding, to be quite honest. And it's something that is a great community. I mean, they're all over the community, right? And so adding that into a facility is pretty low-hanging fruit. We've got updating of the basketball court, you know, resurfacing, striping, goals. Pickleball is obviously something that has grown in popularity over the last couple of years. We've got a framework for that with fencing and the goals and nets and striping, if that's a direction you want to take. There's also the opportunity for, you know, when you redo, you're looking at options. When you go to redo the basketball court, you can actually stripe it with pickleball, so you can have kind of a dual stripe, just like you would on an indoor gym with basketball and volleyball. Now, somebody would need to bring their own, you know, net, but that is certainly a low-cost option to consider. Going into phase 3, this is where, like I said, we really looked at kind of that sports component. Adding that 3.6 is basically just an open field, unirrigated, lawn for practice. You know, you can stripe it if you want, could be unstriped. And then the baseball field, we put numbers in there. I know that's there's sticker shock associated with that, but that's looking at, you know, redoing fencing, redoing the sod, redoing the infield, the dugouts, the lighting, you know, and the lights I know they don't work now. And so it's not just pulling them down and replacing them. You know, there's a conversation about new service, new poles, new conduit, new controller, all of the works. And we've got that all accounted for, just for consideration. That's with lighting, we've got that shown. You know, the lighting is a big number. That includes, again, that kind of hard power. You can go with a solar option. There's considerations with solar, right? The specific fixtures themselves are probably more expensive, but then you don't have the controller, the wiring, the conduit to consider. They don't maybe last quite as long as a typical, you know, LED hardwired fixture, so that's another consideration, but their lifespan is pretty long. That's kind of the overall kind of high arching view. I really wanted to kind of open it up for discussion and question. Wanted to leave room, like I said, for question and answer. Love to have a discussion. And if I answered everything, then I'm shocked.
I just want to say that Parks,
Go ahead, Roxanne, you just gotta holler out, and I didn't see you. Go ahead.
Okay, that's all right.
Sorry, there's somebody out there.
I looked this plan over, and the one thing I thought about was the trees. The shade trees come in at a later phase, and they were expensive trees. But if we planted trees right now and bought cheap trees, they actually grow faster than if you put big trees in. Because it seems like once they establish, we've seen it in our own experience that we had a neighbor who, we bought a great big tree, put it in. He had a little seedling came up planted by the squirrels, and in 5 years, his tree was way bigger than ours. So that would just be one little thing I was thinking we could maybe get, if we know where we want to plant them, we could maybe plant some trees now and just get them started. But it looks like a good plan.
Has EDC been looped into this at
So
all?
I called Linda. She is out of town this week. We're gonna sit down next week sometime, and have a conversation, but I basically, yes, like, that has already been preloaded, but not completely.
Okay, because we're gonna talk about that next Monday night? Monday night, yeah, okay. And then, we're gonna leave the disc golf in?
Yeah, so that was something that, again, kind of city direction, those, I know there's involvement in that in terms of potentially moving some of those goals if you need to. That can all be worked around as needed.
Okay, but it's gonna stay.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be any reason to
I
take
just
that
didn't
out.
see it anywhere, and it's already there, but,
Right.
Bruce,
Yeah,
yeah,
just-
something, sir.
Just one point I wanted to make, make sure we're clear on is, you know, this is a roadmap, this is a shopping list. As we go through these phases and look at them, as we go through the project, Parks and Rec might be coming back and want to make a little bit of alteration to it. Use different material, whatever. So don't get real hung up on
right.
what you see right there. I mean, that's just, you know, like Scott said, it's just a roadmap and a shopping list of what we envision. Anything can be changed.
Right. And the other thought I had along those lines is that, how much do we want to invest in Ansay Park? I mean, we certainly have to go back in with, I'm guessing, phase 1 and, you know, get it up and running. But we have a tennis court at Clipus that we've talked about for years of making pickleball. Do we want to look at the basketball court at Clipus Park and see if that's worth refurbishing before we do? So, you know, I know Ansay's baseball, and then my question on that would be, are we really going to have games there?
Shockingly, you would be surprised how many people are using that for baseball
No,
right now.
I know. Oh, believe me, I've been in City Hall where they
Okay.
call up and are fighting
Okay.
to book it, but
Okay.
it's for practice.
Right.
So it's not for all the lighting and the stands, and maybe we'll be at that point when that
Sure.
phase comes in. But anyway, a thought.
Yeah,
I thought.
no, for sure.
So looking at both parks together, and I know that wasn't your charge. But anyway, those are just some thoughts.
Roxanne, anything else? Council, anything else?
No,
Gentlemen,
I
thank you very
had-
much. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I had some of the same thoughts that Dorothy had on, let's look at both parks together and then determine where would be our best place to put and improve things, so I agree.
I think that the main significance on, and this is my opinion, and I'm speaking as a council person and as a Parks and Recs person, man, we gotta fix Ansay Park.
Absolutely.
There is amount of people there, that neighborhood also is very grantable in that area. There's grant specifics for that area.
Right.
And so, sure, we can a la carte all we want. Phase 1 needs to get done,
Absolutely.
period.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that at all.
Like, it has to be done.
My question is concrete to as asphalt at this point.
Sure,
But
right.
yes, I mean, it's been 2 years.
Right.
We keep saying we're going to do it.
People call every day.
I know.
And the amount of kids, like, if you
Yes.
go drive by that park today at 5 o'clock, and there'll be 35 kids out there playing.
Right, absolutely. And otherwise, they're in the street.
Right.
Because I've had that too when I've gone
Right.
by. Yeah, exactly.
Tyler, how plug and play are the, you know, the concept, as alluded to, our residents are very adamant that the first thing that needs to get done out there is that playground. So plug and play, let's just say we've got 5 items for, you know, 1.1, or for section 1, this is a bad example because those are pretty self-explanatory, but are these items movable around? Like if council comes back to you tomorrow and says, we want the playground, and we gotta have the ADA accessibility sidewalks put in. Do those first, go from there. This, and Stephen, this is for you, Parks and Recs as well. The whole concept is plug and play, movable pieces and parts à la carte, correct?
Some
100%.
site prep, there's some site prep in, some of this.
Yeah, and that should be kind of accounted for in those items, to some degree. We're not gonna prep the, 3.6 field as a part of 1A, right?
Right,
That prep would come as a part of that.
within its phase.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's what, if you look on, like, if you go to, like, phase 2, we've got that phase 2 number, just over 416,000. We've got the items, 2.1 through 2.5, but just above that, we've got general conditions.
Yeah, I see.
And that's where we've got that mobilization, site prep, professional design, professional services, do all that.
Okay.
But yes, to answer your question, it should be pretty plug and play. And exactly to Councilmember Bruce's point, you can move this, right? That layout is not set, there's not a second shade structure shown here. You've got kind of a number in place for what that is, and you can plan for, maybe you want a second or a third one, and you don't want to consider the additional parking. I think the adding and the flexibility there is certainly.
I know our EDC has tried to create events there, and we do a chili cook-off there,
Oh,
and a
yeah.
barbecue cook-off there, and an
Easter
Easter egg
hunts.
hunt.
Yeah, I mean,
And so
that's
there's a lot of really great things that happen at that park.
without infrastructure.
Right. And so imagine if it had infrastructure.
Right.
Probably a question that's gonna show my ignorance. On 1.2, the parking lot, what's that little keyhole?
From my understanding, that is an existing concrete pad that was, I think, a gazebo
Okay, I was just very
with the
confused.
existing facility.
Okay,
It was actually a water tower with the water department in it,
Okay.
and then it became a store. Non-shape or
Right.
whatever it is, so
Yeah.
I was,
that's all it was.
I was
Eagle
just
Scout project waiting to happen.
yeah, there you go.
Gazebo.
Oh, a giant stop sign. Okay,
It's thick concrete.
Yeah, I think it's, from what I could tell, it's pretty solid.
So much.
You're welcome.
I bet it was fun
Oh, it's
to
just,
do this, yeah.
this is the best part of what I do.
Yeah,
Being
yeah.
able to, and I said this at the beginning, this wasn't our vision and direction as a design consultant, it was the communities. And so being able to really come in and help realize that is, that truly is the best part of what I do.
And they did have access to the previous parks
Parks plan,
plan.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Awesome. We appreciate it. And certainly, I think you've got my information, so if there's anything you need, questions, feel free to reach out. I'm pretty available, so
Thanks so much.
we appreciate it. Thank y'all.
thank you, sir. Okay, council, we'll go back to discussion item 26024. Ken, I'm gonna call you up. We are back to chapter 3 and 6. We'll cover both 24 and 25.
All right, back up with chapter 3 and 6 again, and a little report, just to let you know that most of the adjustments have been made through the meeting of 210 that we had. Those are highlighted in the actual chapters themselves. I had some additional comments that came to me today. Thought I'd go over those with you as well, and then open it up for any other items that might need to be adjusted. We keep talking about adding our septic system information in there to make sure it gets approved by Bell County Health Department. So there's a section in there that particular piece will go in as well. Just spoke today with David Rodriguez from SITCOG, and he is developing additional ordinance information as it relates to the 1/2 acre requirement that we have. I should be getting that information in, and we'll be able to let y'all see it after I get it. I'm gonna have, Donna and I are gonna kind of look at it to see if it fits what we're trying to get done. So that one will still get adjusted into chapter 3. There's another item where we do indicate on the septic system that it must be approved by Bell County, and the comment there is, and must be properly maintained. We don't have that in our ordinance right now. It's probably a good add, something to consider. So right now, we're actually going to put that in. And then if y'all are comfortable with these, then we'll move them forward. There was one other one where we had a misspelled on in lieu of. We did get that corrected. So that one has been done at this point. Under violations, we have some language in there which says remove, we want to remove the language about posting on property or make it a complete sentence. We kind of have that in not a full sentence, so we're going to put in or by posting such notice on or at the property in question. So we'll add some additional wording.
But it's gonna be, they're gonna get certified mail.
Right.
But it also might be posted on the property.
Could be.
Okay.
That gives
I
us
just
the
wanna make
option
sure
to
it's not
go.
either or.
Right.
They will,
They
certified
will
mail,
get certified
100%.
mail.
Okay.
And it could be also posted on the property as well. And I think everybody seems to be okay with removing all the language on demolition of property. That has always been in there, but now everything there is being removed at this point.
We don't do it, we don't wanna get into the business
Right.
of it, yeah, okay.
And then the last one was when there were changes made and selections deleted, it looked like we had nothing but little item C reference there. We didn't put in item A and B because item A and B had no adjustments at all. We just put in item C because there were some edits on that particular item. So,
Well, it's like we deleted,
A and B.
yeah, we deleted A and B.
But it didn't get deleted. That was kind of our problem. Whenever we were doing, writing up the ordinance itself, we just left A and B out because nothing was done to it, but something was going to be done to C. Had we done it full bore, we'd have had A, no change, B, no change, and then C that we did do.
You're deleting B, that's my question. We have an A, you're deleting B, and then it goes to C. So do we wanna say B is deleted when you
Well,
come to the final edit?
Let me look again to see if B actually got deleted
It
or
is,
not.
I can show you right here.
You did? Okay. All right, let me put that down.
So where we delete something, and I guess this is like a standard or something, but do we want to leave it in so that it stays contiguous with the numbers, but it was deleted? Or do we want to just take B out? I
Well,
don't know.
we should have, regardless of what we do, the original ordinance that's there should say A, B, C. If A is fine, then we could leave it out, not delete it, but just leave it out of our wording. But if we're gonna delete B, yes, we should show it and then show it line through,
Okay.
just like we
That's
did
my
back on
question.
demolition of
Okay.
property. Yeah. I'll check back on that and see what we did. Okay, on chapter 3, that's really all the comments I've had so far. So the thought there on chapter 3 is we will get these edits all made. I know we've got an ordinance adoption in the packet tonight on the regular session, but if y'all would like, until I get these final pieces done, if you'd like to wait one more time out, maybe we can do it at the April city council meeting. And I'll have one that shows all the edits, and then I'll have one that shows the clean copy with those edits all made. If that's acceptable, y'all, that's what we'll do.
Great.
Okay.
I
good.
have a question about the ordinance, though, because, Jimbo, you're signing these, but it basically says that we have adopted a revised chapter 3 as presented in the council packet. Somehow I would like to be more definitive on that. We have had so many of these revisions in packets. Do we want to attach, like you said, the one that is the new ordinance and say, this is the new ordinance that we are approving and it is attached to this ordinance? And that way there is no doubt. We're not referencing another document. We're not referencing a packet for clarification. So it'd be great to see the edits, but then it would be great to see the final one just get incorporated with the ordinance.
Along with the ordinance, yeah.
Okay.
Because we've struggled to get there.
Oh,
We want to get there,
Get
but
there.
until we get that final ordinance, you know, let's just say perfect, then it's really hard to attach something or say that we're going to approve it in total.
I didn't see it. I didn't see if, there have dates on it, but it might be a good idea with the final one to put the date that it was revised.
Chapter 3 gave
That
it.
way you can just look at the ordinance and know that it was done in, March of '26, and that would be maybe a good idea as we edit ordinance, just to have the date at the bottom when it was last updated.
yeah, I think that's a requirement, even in Muni Code. All of our ordinances have dates at the bottom, so we know what is the most recent one. Yeah, these edits don't have dates on them, but the
Right.
final ordinance, Kelly, yeah, it will have all the dates on it, yeah. I think that's, yeah.
Okay, any other comments about chapter 3? Okay, doke. All right, then I'll move on over to chapter 6. Okay, on chapter 6, and I had some additional comments on this. And first one where we have, okay, in regard to the health officer, we do have that adjustment in section 602.001. And what we did, I know this is the one where it says that the building official becomes the health officer. The question came up of, well, does Mike Reeves really attend these meetings? And to my knowledge, unless somebody else can tell me otherwise, he does not. So it.
I do.
Yeah, Bruce does.
You're right.
Bruce would know if he attended also.
Oh,
Right.
does Mike attend?
Have you ever seen Mike? Okay. That being the case, because I think all we're doing with this one is to put the building official in there to do some of the duties and what have you that are within this ordinance. And not have that to have to go to Bruce or anybody else that would not be, let's just call it our building official per se.
Yeah, a staff person rather
Right.
than a volunteer.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So that's kind of what we've done with that item. Then we have another item that's, let me see this number. Where we have the building official able to enter private property with either probable cause, or we actually have the adjustment put in as after proper notice. So, you know, we could go either way with that, whichever way y'all's preference is. Right now, we have it, the adjustment in is after, after proper notice.
When you say you have the adjustment in, do we have that?
They were supposed to have been sent out whenever they,
No, we didn't get any of these new edits that you're talking about.
oh, okay, well, I can, well,
We can do it at April meeting, but it's good to go over them now so we all agree.
there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
what I was gonna do is what I have here from the notes is make sure we get those incorporated in, then we'll have another set that will be ready
Yeah,
to
because
go.
we
and
didn't
then
get anything
make
except the
sure.
resolutions.
Oh, okay, all right.
Have
Gotcha.
anything. I just looked at some old stuff.
I noticed that, it's what you indicated,
Okay,
that
okay,
you had
yeah.
seen that.
So I don't know why we didn't. That's where I got mine, but they
Yeah.
didn't have the adjustments that we said on February 10th. So Kelly, we just need to make sure we get, when there's a resolution to say approve edits, we just need to make sure we have the edits in the packet.
Here's what I'll do. From our February 10th meeting and from this meeting, I'll get these all adjustments in, and then I'll get back with Kelly. We will get those sent out to you, but of course, before the April meeting. And then that way y'all have them all, and if there's anything else that we need to, make any fine tuning edits on, we will do. Okay? All right, let's see here.
Thought I was insane when I was saying these things over again.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
I'm all right. All right, let me just go through these last 3, 4 here, and then I'll be able to close it out for you. Comment was, we still have solicitation restrictions, and can we say in that section, generally not legal in Morgan's Point Resort without a permit? That's when somebody actually comes to your door, wants to cut down your trees or anything else.
Put something on your doorknob.
Right,
We still have that.
we do.
Yeah.
We do still have that. Next one is under prohibited condition. What was decided on, it's a good one here. What was decided on the timeframes for sleeping overnight in the temporary quarters? We had a little bit of a back and forth on that a couple of meetings ago, or at least at February meeting. What we put in at that point is, however, short-term RV and mobile campers stays of 14 days or less does not constitute a violation. I picked that number. I heard a bunch of different numbers when we were talking. Didn't know if 14 days is gonna work. Should it be 7? Should it be some other number?
So is that annually or consecutively?
I didn't put that in, to where we would, confine it to even a more specific.
A month.
Well, 2 weeks is what all the parks use,
Right.
and people are used to that who camp and have campers.
Good.
But the question, and Andrea brought this up, so I have a place in my front yard where I can have a camper. So Joe comes for 14 days, Joe leaves, and then Don comes for another 14 days. So there's always a camper out in front of my house. And
For that matter, the same person, they leave for 2 days.
yeah, and come back. So maybe it's per month. I mean, I have no answer, but I think we ought to be a little more specific.
I don't know what the number would be either.
And the hard thing is gonna be how you enforce it.
True.
That's the other thing.
Well, we've got to enforce something because it's
Okay.
a health and safety
Can I-
issue.
Yes, ma'am.
Roxanne's got something.
I'm just thinking about different ways we have used a camper. We went to help our daughter for over a month, and we stayed in our camper rather than in their house. Let's say my daughter gets sick and came to stay in my house, and in order to give her a little extra room, we sleep in the camper. Those are the kind of things you don't even need to restrict, do you?
Should we have a permit if it's going to be greater than 14 days? So when you go to your daughter's, you just pick up a permit that says, I'm going to be here a month, and
14 days without a permit.
I
Well, I
don't,
won't-
it's
Also,
not an
what you-
answer, it's not
My
a,
daughter, I
What you
won't
don't
do it
want-
because that's a different city, but yeah. But I was just thinking about, if I have a camper on my yard and somebody's sleeping in it or not, if it's my family or not, our friend, I don't know if we have to, why would we have to restrict it to a certain time?
So I wonder if we could restrict it, because I was trying to think about how to do this, and again, not a lawyer, but because I am fully aware someone has commercially rented, right? So there's gotta be something in there that, like, because if it was family or friends, maybe a month is all right, but like, what I don't wanna happen is suddenly everybody's renting their side yard.
right.
But
And
I've
my
seen-
neighbors don't want that,
I've
because we
seen
experienced that.
In CCNRs, when looking at properties, I have seen visible from the street, the phrase used. So you might have a 2-week limit once a year if visible from the street, something like that.
Most I've seen are definitely just in the front yard.
Well, it might be a family member, not a
Yeah.
resident.
But see, if we're. I've had issues in the past. My daughter was talking to strangers. That's not okay. So how do you regulate if that's a family member? I've had friends who have asked to keep their camper on my lot, and I said no because of this. So to keep living situations, you're talking about buildings that are not on wheels. I have a camper, so I get that, but I'm just saying, how are our people supposed to keep up?
Well, let me ask you this.
You
I-
can't make it pick and choose for people.
Let me ask this. We do have some type of ordinance out there that says you cannot live in a camper or a RV or whatever you want to call it overnight on somebody's residence. So can we look at what we have today? Because we've got something.
I can read you what we've got.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect. Okay,
But,
thank you.
and this is where this whole conversation started, is
Yeah.
because we looked at this last time.
Right.
Okay.
It's right before we added this new little 14-day deal. It says this is a violation. Cannot allow sellers, I guess that's below sellers, temporary tents or sheds or mobile campers to be used as sleeping rooms. Now, I think the term there, in my opinion, is sleeping rooms. That would be something that's, you're almost hiring it out, or somebody's coming in and paying you to put their camper right next to you and being able to stay there for.
Could we incorporate the word non-commercial in there? No commercial use?
Rental.
I do agree with Roxanne that if we have a house full of guests, my wife and I will go out and sleep in the RV, but our RV is behind a wall. It's not on the street or in the driveway. That's a tough one.
We need something.
Wonder what other cities do. I mean,
I was gonna
we're
say, can
obviously not the only,
Can the
sorry.
COG help?
The
Can
other,
the COG help with some wording?
They might be able to, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
like, I wonder what Temple does, or Belton, or, I mean, granted, we're different than all of those cities,
I
but.
think this came up because the one lady that had a fire in her house and she was gonna stay in her RV till her house was rebuilt. Remember those houses that caught on fire? And that's what she wanted to do and she wasn't allowed to, right?
But then we also recently
Yeah. But with
did a
a
variance.
With a permit.
Right, did a
yeah.
variance to where someone can build their house and live in a
Saying if
camper. And
there's-
so,
Should this
is
require
it a case by case thing?
Like, you need a permit to go door to door and hang flyers.
Right.
Should we get a permit to be?
Hey,
able
my
to-
dad's gonna be in town next week. He's
I'm just-
driving his camper across the.
Maybe permit is too strong of a word, but a registration of it, or a,
I mean,
let's see what the COG has, and maybe what, we're,
See what other cities are doing.
other lake communities, because we're not like Belton or Temple.
no, we're not.
So, Marble Falls, Horseshoe Bay,
Lago Vista,
Yep.
there's-
yeah.
there's lots of
Lago,
places.
Lago Vista's a little, they would
Bougie.
probably restrict it. Okay, I don't know, but they're a little
I mean,
restrictive.
there's areas of Lake Travis that would probably
Lake
be.
Travis, yeah. Because I think we need something, but I agree with Roxanne. We want to be friendly, and,
We're talking about a permit system if we go that route. But what if the resident doesn't apply for a permit?
well, it has to be, it
how
has to
does-
be put in the windshield.
Well, I get it,
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is how does law enforcement know that?
There's not a permit in the windshield. Visible from the street.
Well, if I got a camper and it's mine, I'm storing it on my property, I'm not gonna have a permit.
Say that a lot of our ordinances, okay, code enforcement for one, officer, but a lot of our ordinances, only way that you
Right.
know in numerous ones is when some resident, the camper comes and stays a month next door and they call up the city.
Get
and say,
reported,
"Listen,
yeah.
This trailer's been parked here, and that's not unique for this. A lot of our ordinances, noise ordinance and things.
Abandoned vehicles is a big one.
It's complaint driven.
Yes, it is
So-
complaint
so-
driven.
Yeah, so we have numerous ordinances, and a lot of them, the only way, because you can't regulate all of that, but you have to have an ordinance so that when the person calls in and says, this person's, that you have an ordinance to back you up. But to Misty's point, that's how it is done, is, on a complaint form.
Right.
People they're dealing with. Like I said, you're talking about septic, you're talking about other issues that come up.
Well, it comes under zoning enforcement, doesn't it?
Right. So it would be a violation to have someone sleep in a camper out in front of your property for, a year. So can they enforce everything? No. But that doesn't mean that we don't have ordinances because our staff is too busy. So we have to try to come up with workarounds, like a sticker in the window. So maybe the neighbor won't
Speed
complain.
limit signs, great example.
Right, yeah, there's no way they're catching people speeding
Right.
at going greater than 25 miles an hour.
Right.
Yeah, no. But we need to have ordinances for health and safety reasons. So we just need to make them livable and breathable.
Well, and I think we want to be fair. I mean,
I-
right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'll chime in. The fact that if you go down family route and these things, just like dealing with the legislature all day long, which is, or enforcing what legislature sets out. You are the governing body, you are the legislative body of this city. And so when you start coming up with ordinances, you have to remember, when you say family, what does that mean to you? What does that mean
It's
to?
a defined term.
And so you're gonna
Yeah.
have to define things like that. And
It's already
without that,
defined with all these charts, right?
and then
It's
you're gonna
basically
start-
anybody.
and you're gonna start
Right.
getting into places that you don't want to do because, okay, what is a cousin? And then you're gonna have to start going down
Well,
contingency.
I think friends, family, not commercial use. I mean, people shouldn't be renting an RV in their front yard. That's what I think,
That's the biggie.
right? I mean, that's just a fact.
That's right.
Like, because I can have people come over to my house, you could have people come over to your house, and I mean,
But you can't
So,
rent it
so
out.
I'll just bring you back to Cousin Eddie. Everybody knows Cousin Eddie. That's all I gotta say, Cousin Eddie, you already know.
So Ken, I
it only
think,
stays for 3 days though, I think.
No, cousin Eddie.
Okay.
since we're at the
got
bottom
this,
of this
right?
rabbit hole, Ken, a little research on this one and
Yeah,
bring it
we
back
need-
to us, please.
Yeah, we'll see what COG's got, and we'll make sure we somehow work in no commercial use.
Okay. And then we're gonna add wildfire hazard down to that.
I've got that already in, the one that you
Okay,
didn't
good, good,
see.
good.
That's down there. And then, in addition, on the walkways, about the property preventing, the feces on the roadway, I think we worked that in as well.
Okay, good.
Because we just added the word including streets, any walkways adjacent to any paved portion, and streets abutting the property, So we've got that worked in as well. So I think we hit most of your comments on all that. If anybody else has anything else what I'll do is I'll get with Kelly, and I'm gonna send you what we didn't get in the packet right now. We'll update it again. We'll get this ready one more time, and as soon as we get it ready, I'm not gonna wait till we get close to the meeting. We're gonna go ahead and send it out, to get it in your hands, so y'all can have a chance to study it a little bit more and see if we think we're almost there.
Ready to go.
I think
Yeah.
we're almost there.
Yep, I think we're almost there.
Right.
All right, that's all I have, unless y'all have any other questions.
Thanks.
Ken, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you. And then, Kelly, same thing on this ordinance. It refers to a previous meeting. And it also refers to presented in the council packet. So it'd be the same thing. We will attach the new ordinance to this ordinance. Okay?
Yeah, I've got the notes to have it adjusted and then add the dates and everything, actually in the ordinance. I would like that, so that's good call out. Okay, I know we're running late. I want to continue to plow through this, so follow-on speakers, please hit the high notes for council. Most of these things have been discussed. So 26026 is the ordinance approving the roof, the Residential Utility Assistance Fund. Mary, if you want to take that one and briefly discuss that for us.
Fund, it's not, and also to, process and the criteria that will be brought back again, but this is really fund and giving him authorization to set up the criteria for
Questions? Council, Roxanne, what do we got here? We got a low battery on Roxanne. Questions or comments, concerns, council?
No, of course, the devil's in the details. So I, as a council person, I'd like to see the criteria once they're developed. It's a policy, so we should take a look at the policy whenever it's developed. But I love the idea you're coming up with it, because I wouldn't know how to come up with it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, 26027 is memorandum resolution authorized city manager enter professional services agreement with KPA for storm water drainage development plan in the amount of $61,520. Stephen, you have any comments on that one for us? Anything to add? That's just a pretty blanket entering into an agreement with KPA for a study, correct?
It is. We're not going to abandon the funding that Texas Water Development Board is going to be giving us as well. So we're on the waiting list for them, and I spoke with them last week. We're 3 to 5 years from them even touching our city. We're 9th on the list. We're going to hire KPA. They're going to do the trouble, the really horrible parts of the city. Texas Water Development Board will come in when we're up on the list to do the rest of it. So that's where we are right now on that.
At least we're on the list.
Yes.
I'm going to put my ambassador hat on. Sir, this is Morgan's Point Resort. There are no horrible spots in this city.
How do you turn this off?
Yeah, he says with a straight face. Okay, council, any additional comments or questions on that one? Okay, pretty straightforward. 26029, Matt just stepped out. This is a resolution, Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation grant. This is the up to $40,000 grant that Firehouse Subs offers quarterly. He's back. I have a question for you just to make sure there are no associated matching funds, right? This is a 100% funded up to $40,000, assuming we get it, correct?
That is correct.
So that one appears to be pretty straightforward. Council, any discussion or comments on that one?
No, the only one I had was, it says accept and execute. So we've already gotten this grant. We just have to fill out the paperwork to accept it.
Was that, hang on one second. That
That's
might
in-
be my fault.
Yeah, I think that's a typo. We have not, I'm sorry, the
Didn't sound like
safety
Oh.
center has not
No,
applied
yeah,
for that
so-
grant.
Title, the title.
Yeah, so the title would be to, basically, this is going to be approved, basically, if awarded, accepted, all one resolution to do everything. So, again, up to $40,000. So one resolution to carry us through to the entire thing. Make the application, if awarded, accepted, and then whatnot.
Okay, soup to nuts. Okay,
Yep, one resolution to cover it all the way from beginning to end.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, 26030 is a memorandum resolution adopting a written policy under Texas Local Government Code 105.11, permit consideration depository applications, financial institutions not doing business within the city limits. Mary will cover this one, but this was touched on
We
briefly.
discussed this
because-
last time.
Right.
Because we do not have a bank, anything
Yep.
additional for
Right.
council.
Yay, so you got it.
Yeah.
We have to do it, don't we?
Yeah, we don't have a choice.
We have to do it.
Yes,
Pretty much.
Yes, it's pretty much, but we have to have the policy, yes, sir.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So, okay, we have finance director, city manager updates. Anything key? I wasn't tracking we had any updates on those. Those are just on here. So,
Are we
okay.
still in workshop?
we are still in workshop. So, yes, I was trying to move through those rapidly.
Yep. Great job, great job.
Since they have been discussed almost as many times as chapters 3 and 6. So, okay, council, without objection, I have 1822. We will adjourn we will adjourn the workshop. I always say 5 minutes and we're always at about 8. So let's plan on meeting back at 6:30 to go into the special session, powder your nose, get some water, meet